Hello and welcome back to the Touring Pro Series and our live broadcasts. Our apologies for being away for so long. We're now over our problems and just in time as well, because we have up today the final event of the virtual Carrera Cup 2015 Championship here from Mount Panorama. I'm Ryan Callan and joining me today is Robert Wiesenmuller, although a little drunk and happy from the football.
Hello, Ryan. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Maybe not in the best shape, but hopefully good enough for the commentary today, so you all enjoy it. And
Yeah,
it's good that we have some racing again.
Yes, excellent. We've got some racing, some live racing as well. We have missed it. People have been twining, whining, asking where it's at. Well, here it is. This time, finally. Our apologies for all the troubles that we've had. Plenty of news to give you over the last couple of rounds that we have missed. Paul, Robert, and John have done commentary duties for both of those rounds, and neither has got shown. So hopefully today goes without a hitch. We get some great racing here at this iconic track. We are now in qualifying, though, Robert, and no surprise who the leader and the lead contender for pole is here today.
Yeah, it's obviously Risto Capet. He's very close to winning this championship as well. In the last race, he just took a double win, so he's really on form. He's the fastest driver in the league, and yeah, looks like it's another good track for him.
It does seem that way. Let's skip on board with him if we can. Oh, let's not skip on board with him because we've been thrown out of the game. Let's try and get back in there then. Won't be a second. Just enjoy the calendar for a second. We got coming up in just a couple of weeks' time, Rob. Something very close to your heart is the finale of the Virtual Super Tour. Just talk about how that's gone lately, because people have been missing that as well.
Yeah, that's been going really well. Very close and exciting championship.
Very excited for you.
Yeah, I'm fighting for the championship title there with Toby Davis. There's only 10 points separating us at the moment. I've won both the last races. And Toby's still ahead, but 2 races to come, both at Silverstone, so it should be very good. It should be exciting.
Yeah, the gap's down to just 10 points, but also as well, there is a small appeal in place. So it could come down even further, that gap. So it may be that we'll see a second championship for either Toby or Rob in the Touring Pro Series. Toby has won one championship before. That was a Virtual Carrera Series 3. Rob won the second Virtual Millie Challenge, didn't you, Rob? So looking for a second championship for either of those two drivers, both from THR, of course. THR, the best front-wheel drive team in sim racing in the world. It's been no surprise that they have dominated that season there in that championship. We just have a few problems getting into this server at the moment without any hiccups with our RFE plugin. Just give me just a few minutes here, guys. My apologies for this. Rob, just prattle on about anything you like.
Yeah, well, I can of course tell you a little bit more about the Virtual Super Tours in this case, because we had some very exciting races that unfortunately were not broadcasted. I think the last race that was on a live broadcast was the round at Brands Hatch Grand Prix.
It was.
That's like 6 weeks ago now, so you guys missed lots of the action. We had some interesting races at Thruxton, at the high-speed circuit, the fastest track in the United Kingdom, where it was John Monroe. No, it was Eric Strane, actually. My apologies. It was Eric Strane taking his first win in his first race. Only needed one lead lap because Toby Davis and Andrew Waring collided in the final corner.
Well,
and Strane sneaked through.
Let's not dress that up, shall we? Should we actually say what happened there, Rob? Toby Davis collided with Andrew Waring.
Toby was probably the fastest driver in that race, wanted to take the win, but Andrew has been defending well, and then Toby went for a little bit overambitious move, collected Andrew, and they both finished the race. Andrew came second, Toby came third, but Eric Strane sneaked through and took the win. In the second race at Thruxton, it was then Toby Davis who took, I think even a start-finish victory, I'm not entirely sure, but a very dominant win ahead of John Monroe. Then we went to Thruxton, the very tight Scottish circuit, and there was lots of drama for Toby Davis because he managed to roll in both races. First race, he actually rolled out of the track and then had to jump over the barrier to get back into the track. only finished 7th, but actually 7th is pretty remarkable considering that, he rolled outside of the track.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, wasn't it, from him to actually even get anything out of that, to be honest, because to roll outside of the track, but of course he had been researched beforehand where you get back on. There's only one place you could get back on, and that was via a jump over the barriers.
Yeah, it was actually his teammate John Monroe who gave him a little hint how to do it. I was not so happy about that because because that meant that Toby got lots of points where he could have been out of the race.
Yeah, it could have been. You lose an entire lap at getting back on because you have to drive right round back behind the pits to get back on at Knockhill at that point. But at Brands Hatch, you were on superb form, Rob. I have to say, qualified fairly poorly in both races, really. But you raced to the front in both races fantastically well. I was very impressed.
Yeah, it was. I realized in Knockhill, well, the races actually were won by John Monroe and Andrew Waring. But I noticed that I was a little bit off the pace, and pretty much since Croft, since the last time that I won, I was just going backwards, more and more backwards. Every time we came up to a new track, so this time I was trying a little bit harder, try to get as much information as possible about the car, about the setup, about the track.
Because last time you were at the track was Tox, and you had a miserable time.
Yeah, I qualified last. I was not very good.
No, it was not.
So yeah, I worked hard on that, and I had a pretty good setup. I was feeling wonderful in the race. Qualifying is always difficult because you have a Super Bowl session as well in the Super Tourers, and that's pretty tough when you only have one lap, and also when you're in the title fight, and it gets into your head, you're getting nervous.
Well, it's better to be 5th or 6th, isn't it, than to risk it all for pole and make a mistake and end up 26th.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that Toby Davis, he's taking what, 8 pole positions, 10 pole positions or so?
Yes, it's very amazing. Good at Super Pole,
yeah. He's really good at this. And yeah, but I managed to pass him in both races. It was pretty tough, It was a really, really hard battle, and I hope I get out of it without scoring another penalty. So
of course, remember in this series as well, people are not familiar with Touring Pro Series, they are points penalties. So they really impact the championship. For example, you could get a 20-second penalty, not lose any positions, or you could have been a lap down, not scored any points, and not lose any positions. So it doesn't really affect you. Whereas in other series, so you get a time penalty, but you go back some positions and still don't score any points, so it makes no difference. Whereas we have points penalties, so everybody always gets penalised whether they finish the race or not for a mistake that they've made. So that's been key for us.
So, Ryan, what's your predictions? Who's going to win the Super Tourers?
Oh, I cannot predict that. That is just too close. The momentum is with you because Knockhill and Brands Hatch, you've picked up lots and lots of points over Toby, and he's made lots and lots of mistakes. But maybe the law of averages means that Toby hits back in the next round. I'm not entirely sure. It's very, very difficult to call, to be honest. What's your prediction, since you're the person in the title fight? Do you think you will win?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. We like that. We like a bit of optimism.
Well, I have to be. I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm still in this fight. It's been like 30 points or so, 35 points that Toby was ahead.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to close the gap more and more. And I don't know, I didn't give up at any stage, so now I think now I have to pull it through, now I have to win it. But of course, Toby Davis he's a really good racer. Probably, you should have way more than one title in TPS.
Many near misses. Close. Yeah. But this could be another near miss, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would feel a bit sorry for him if that's the case, because
you feel a bit sorry for him.
He's a tremendous driver, and he taught me a lot about how to race and how to set up the car. And
yeah, he's very helpful. So that side of things.
He definitely deserves another title, but not this title. I think that this one is for me.
He deserves another title, but not this one. Now, I am very, very pleased to announce that we have fixed the difficulties with these with the plugin here. I do apologise for that. I did think I had it cleared up beforehand, but clearly it decided it was not going to work again. And surprise, surprise, we come back into the session with just a few seconds ago, and look who's on pole. It's Risto Capet. He has to score just 5 points in this event. And in case you're wondering, that's pretty academic because it's 30 points for a win in a race. So there's 60 points available over the next 2 races over this entire event, and Risto just has to score 5, which is the equivalent of 16th, if I'm not very much mistaken. Rob, do you think he'll do it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's an equivocal yes from myself as well. So unanimous here in the judges that Risto Capet will win this Virtual Carrera Cup 2015 title. He's on pole position here also. Well, McGregor second, Hack third. That's been a familiar sight for McGregor and Hack, and to some extent Kevin Siggy as well, Rob. They've been, there or thereabouts, but never truly in a position to
Siggy
challenge Capet.
He just moved up into 3rd place.
Did just move into the 3rd, but they've always been a bit, even though they're close in positions-wise, the time has never been quite close enough to worry Capet most of the season. Sorry, Capet, should I say, most of the season.
Well, Kevin Siggy was right there at Simmons Plains, but
yep.
I would say this has probably been the only time someone's been really on the pace of Capet, apart from Heinemann, obviously, earlier on.
Of which we'll talk more about during warm-up, so that most of you will be familiar with what happened, but we'll talk about that and give our views on that as well. But Cardozo was doing very well, Rob. He's had a very, very poor season. In fact, he's had a very poor season and a half, really. I mean, he burst onto the scene last year in Virtual Carrera Cup, if you remember, Rob, and had a couple of great results, but has just lulled, involved in all kinds of accidents ever since then. And this is the best I've seen him qualifying a long, long time. He's up in that 5th position. Sorry, 6th position, because Holm has actually just knocked him down.
Yeah, he's been picking up pace in the last round as well, but he couldn't get the results. He always ran somehow into trouble in the races. So it's very good to see him qualifying that high up the order, and I just hope for him that he gets a good end for the season and scores a lot of points.
Matthew Allington moved up into 13th there. He's run a very short season here. Just made his debut, I think, at the last round, didn't he? And this round is his 2nd and final round of the season, of course, because this is the final round of the season. He moves up to 13th there, driving for YTF1, and that is the team that he owns. So driving and trying to score some points and having fun out there as well. There's Lars Brueggemann coming into the picture there. He's had some excellent results lately, hasn't he, Rob?
He has, but I just want to point out something else. Ruud Easterbeek, where is he? Is he in 22nd?
He is in 22nd. Has he set a qualifying time? Can you see, Rob?
I cannot see at the moment, but I will.
Let's have a look here for you. That's very strange. I noticed he wasn't actually taking part much in practice there, and no, he hasn't set a lap time. So I'm not quite sure whether Ruud Easterbeek is going to be even appearing on this grid at the moment.
Well, that's a shame, because there's not only the battle for first. It's not really a battle anymore. It's more a battle for 2nd place between Easterbeek and Ross McGregor. They're only separated by 2 points, and with McGregor qualifying 2nd and Easterbeek, not
20
at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether Ruud's had some kind of issue. I noticed he didn't take part in the last 20 minutes of practice at all either. He was sat in the pits, didn't set a lap time. And so something to keep an eye on there. We'll try and get to the bottom of that for you. Keep our eyes peeled for yourself. So just run it through the grid for you quickly now then. There is the 2nd place guy. That was Ross McGregor. 3rd place, separating the 2 THR Orange twins, is Kevin Siggy for Enterprise GP. And as I said, for THR Orange, it is Chris Hack. And then 5th is THR Blue driver, Adrian Holm, with a touch of purple in his car also as well. Although, he's supposed to have purple in his car, isn't he, Rob? Anyway,
that's Chris Butcher. He should have purple in his car.
Chris Butcher has purple in his car. That is absolutely correct. You are correct. 6th place is Miguel Cardozo. We're just talking about him with Rodriguez in 7th, his teammate. Rodriguez has had a good season also as well. 8th, Brueggemann. 9th is Olsen. 10th is Asensao. 11th, Yunt. 12th is... my mind has gone blank. 12th is Matt Richards. 13th is Ethan Bass. 14th, Matthew Allington. 15th is Thomas Jacobs was 16th, Tonga Guardia. 17th, Nicky Defray. Welcome back to Nicky. He's been away for quite a while. I think V8 Supercars 2012. The opening round, I think he took part in, so that was a long time ago now. With 18th, Mike Bell, struggling here for any kind of pace, with Marius Mervold in 19th. 20th, Cameron Bruce. He'll be very unhappy with that. 21st, Demelin. And 22nd, Heasterbig, who has had somewhat the same kind of pace as Caput in the last couple of rounds, or at least been able to challenge him more than anybody else. But the star from GPVWC has been overshadowed somewhat. Did I just see Heasterbig? Well, there is Heasterbig. He's come out now then, so he will start from the back of the grid, but he will make the race. So that's positive news for him at least anyway. There are points positions for all of the top 20, so he's likely to get himself a decent haul of points. But of course, with McGregor having that gap of 2 points and being much further up the grid, that could be a bit of a problem for Heasterbig if he wants to steal that second place in the championship. Now, we wanted to talk about Tim Heinemann and his absence from the championship, and his suspension and, quite frankly, disgrace from TPS. We've already talked about this about 15 times, haven't we, Rob? But we need to announce it again properly on a broadcast that everyone can actually see and hear. Tim Heinemann was found guilty of cheating, using hacks outside the game that altered the state of his game illegally. Proven but not limited to having no fuel use and no damage during races, being able to turn that on and off quite freely also as well. This was brought to our attention by suspicions at Oran Park when he set a very fast lap time, some 1.2 seconds faster than anybody else in that race. And it was in the wet. Now, the lap time itself was plausible. You know, it's possible, wasn't it, Rob? It was something that could be done. But he passed 2 cars during this lap, and also he braked before the start-finish line to set this lap and still went 1.2 seconds faster. So that raised a huge amount of suspicion. He also incurred no damage in a crash which should have at least torn his whole front end of his car off a couple of laps before he set this very fast lap as well. This is all at Oran Park. So we suspended him as a result of that and found further proof through Miguel Cardozo and that GT Competizione team in the log files. He had no fuel use and was using invulnerability. He did this at Adelaide as well, but no presence of wrongdoing was found at any other event apart from Adelaide and Oran Park. Now, I know, Rob, you're very you're not amused, I think is the description for yourself about this situation.
Yes, I think it's just ridiculous that that you cheat. As you just you don't only cheat to get the results, you also cheat on all the other drivers in the league. And I mean, Touring Pro Series is all about competition, and the best driver, the fastest driver, the one who prepares best should win. But what Heinemann did there was just ridiculous, and I think the admins have done exactly the right thing to remove him from the championship and from TPS in general, because it's just unacceptable behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree. I mean, as the head guy at TPS, I mean, I'm in this situation, not going to mince my words. I think it's absolutely disgraceful what he did. He's cheated not only himself and anybody who was his fan, and his team also as well. Because remember, they're implicated in it immediately also as well. Spade Racing, and they've garnered a bad name elsewhere as a result of that. But he cheated everybody out on track there. And yes, you said TPS is all about hard and fair racing. It's what it's all about, and we just cannot have people cheating. So that's the reason why he was suspended from TPS for the rest of his life. I mean, it's a complete lifetime ban. There's no coming back from that at all at any point. It's broken that degree of trust that we had in him. And the funny thing isn't it, Rob? He is a very fast driver, probably one of the best in the world, especially in these types of cars. And it doesn't really have any need for cheats to win races. But what I think it was, Rob, he had a bad round at Simmons Plains, didn't he? Where he had a screen freeze in the first race, and that left him down the field and down the field again for the second race because of the qualifying situation. And then he got some damage and also had a poor second race about Simmons Plains. He gave up a lot of points to Risto. And with the points structure being quite tight, I think he was very scared and very desperate to make up those points that he lost at Simmons Plains. What do you think?
Yeah, but I think it's also like a psychological component to all of this, because I think Rizzle was coming pretty close to him pace-wise, and Heinemann just wanted to show his dominance on everyone else. Because in the first season he's just been the best. Golombek has been close from time to time, but pace-wise, especially in the races, Heinemann has just been dominating the races. He's been going way faster at certain points of the races. He could just dictate the pace and dictate the results pretty much. And with Caput in the league, that was not really possible anymore for him. So I think he tried to find another way to prove that he's the best, and yeah, cheated.
Yeah, I mean, he's won LAN events before, big LAN events before, against top drivers, and so there's no doubt that he's a very fast driver. But unfortunately, in these situations, it's absolutely irrefutable proof that he cheated. But the worst thing for me, though, was, Rob, that he still says he did not cheat, in spite of all the evidence. Still has not apologised for it. We made the announcement on face guarding this cheating, and he had that removed under telling Facebook it was lies and incorrect and slanderous, or libelous, should I say, because it's in writing. And when we posted to that effect, he had that post removed also as well. So he's lost all respect from everybody in the sim racing community because of that, because that's just not only cheating but lying and not admitting and apologising also as well, Rob, which is it's not a very nice combination. But anyway, let's get back to this racing, because we are just a few seconds away from the race about to happen for you guys. And it's we've just been following Aston Salgo around the circuit. We've been watching a few of the other guys as well, as we talked about Tim Heinemann. No guesses for who you think will win this race, Rob?
I will actually not say Caput this time, just because I want to be different.
Want to be different? Because he's drunk. Because he's drunk, guys.
No. I would say Chris Heck will win this race. Because Chris Heck was really close last time. Chris Heck hasn't won a race all season.
No, and he came with high hopes as well.
Yeah, he was on the pace in the first round and then kind of dropped back, had to miss a few races, but here he's on the pace again. And Bathurst is not an easy track. You can clip the walls pretty easily here and damage your car.
You can.
And we've seen Caput, of course, pushing quite hard. Made a few mistakes already this season. He's been usually the fastest driver, but he's not been the driver with the least mistakes in the championship.
No, not with what's the word? Unforced errors, haven't there? A few of those. I mean, a spin at Adelaide, very poor spin actually, but one was an amateur spin at Adelaide for a driver of his calibre. And then also outbraked himself on the first lap at Eastern Creek. So you're right, the mistakes are there. But even when he has made mistakes, he has always made that ground back up again, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it was not always enough to give him the win. He's won quite a few races this season, but we've seen a lot of different winners. I mean, McGregor has won, Junt has won, Siggy has won, someone else. Hiesevik, of course, has won.
Hanneman won, to be fair, because we'd only remove the rounds where it was found to be definitely cheating, so he did win a race. In fact, a couple of races, should I say. So here is the championship standings. We did talk about this earlier. 55 points to cap level, as you say, for Bristol Capper. There's only 60 on offer here, and Ross McGregor can't overtake his win either, so it's 5 points here today. And as we were saying, McGregor's got a 2-point lead over Hiesevik. With Siggy quite a few points back, probably won't make up those points today unless it's a disaster for both Hiesevik and McGregor. So it looks like he's in comfortable 4th place there. But Rodriguez and Brugman, that's an intriguing battle, along with Hack and Junt as well. So look out for how that develops as the race goes on here. And Hull looks like he's pretty safe in that position, and a few others further back down to Glavach and Harwick, both on 66 points here. Last season, 2 winners were Oscar Harwick and Eric Strana. My apologies. Perhaps if I actually go back to this for you. There we go. Harwick and Strana last season. Of course, none of the racing drivers were racing, whether or not there was no Tolborg, Colin Beck, or Tim Heinemann. And Harwick was the one who took full advantage of all that and took his one and only Touring Pro Series win at that time. Lots of very hard tyre warming up here from Risto Kappa. And it's a bit unusual actually to warm your tyres so hard in the opening lap, but maybe it's because it's such a long lap here, Rob.
It's also because these tyres stay so cold. It's I've done a few laps here just to see what it's like.
Would you like to tell the viewers how you describe the cars?
I think they suck.
They suck.
Because it's so difficult to get the tire.
You can't say that. You're German. You ought to not like it.
No, I never liked Porsches. But I like to watch them. I think they look quite interesting. But racing in them, I'm not sure if I actually dislike the cars itself, or if it's just because I'm bad.
For anybody who doesn't know Rob, it's probably because they're bad. Because Rob doesn't like anything that he's not instantly quick in. Unfortunately, I have to say, it's quite a common trait in Rob.
I tried to drive tonight. I tried to drive 20 laps on this track, and yeah. When I started off with doing 2-minute 11s. So that was like 7 seconds off, I think. It was not very good. And then I came down to a 2-minute 7, and then I felt like I was on the edge with this car. I was pushing it everywhere, sliding everywhere, and then I think Aston Sauer went on the server and immediately went 2 seconds quicker, and then I just gave up.
So there we go, guys. It's not that the cars suck; it's just the problem. This is something that comes to the fore quite a lot with Rob. He's very quick in the virtual Super Touring and looking to win a title there as well. So Rob is a very quick driver when he feels like it, and he wants those championships. But here we are. Start of the race is about to happen. 4 lights are on. And 4 lights are out. Green light we are for the penultimate race of the season. Kappa gets off to a good start there, but even better start there from Ross McGregor on the outside. But Kappa sees him off. It's Kappa from McGregor from Hack. And it's also, I think that's Holm and Siggy fighting in behind there also as well. Yes, they are. So let's look back now from the championship, the champion-elect, and McGregor raised up again on this long mountain straight up towards turn 2 for the first time.
McGregor's looking on the outside, but I've got the impression that he won't try anything too silly. He's got Chris Hack behind him, who's his teammate, and it looks like there's a huge battle going on behind as well.
You're absolutely correct. There is a very big battle going on behind.
Who's that? Olsen?
Yeah, Olsen is way up the field now. He is up in 5th position. There he is. There he is in front of Adrian Holm. I saw Kevin Siggy go wide, entering turn 2, Griffin's Bend for the first time, over the top of the mountain for the first time, as the cars fly across here, and now through Willoughby Park as well. And then I'm going to go down and descend the mountain for the first time. 12 laps here, 2 races, in case you're not aware, and Holm all out of shape, just about holds onto that going down the hill as they race down through the dipper, and now down towards Forest Elbow for the first time. I cannot tell you, if you've never raced at this track, how much of a rush it is on the opening lap. Rob, you describe that for us.
Yeah, and in these cars it's even harder because the tires are so cold, and you just have such a different grip level to usually. And I mean the walls are so close here. You have to push so hard, and with all the other cars around you, it's really difficult. And I'm actually happy to see so many cars still going with all their body parts still on.
Yeah, we do often see quite a few missing bumpers in this as Cardozo struggles to get that car stopped. Around the outside is going to come Adrian Holm and try and retake that position. Oh, but Cardozo has nothing of it. Gives Holm a little bit of a hip and shoulder onto that curb, and Cardozo holds onto position. Holm's not the kind of guy who gets frustrated by that kind of thing. He'll keep his cool and wait for his opportunity. Yunt right in behind him with Brugman and Siggy back there in 9th and 10th spots as the field comes through and crosses the line for the first time. It's still Kappa leading from Ross McGregor. He's got a little bit of a gap, Rob.
Yeah, it seems like Kappa can now get into his rhythm and pull off a little gap, and that's exactly what he needs to just bring home the championship really. But it's also good for McGregor because it looks like Hack and him are clear of the rest of the field, so McGregor should be able to make up lots of points to Heasterbeek. And I've got no idea where Heasterbeek even is.
He's the big. Let's have a look where he is on our timer here. He's 17th. He's made up 5 positions during the race at the moment. We'll keep an eye on him. You can keep an eye on him yourself if you go to touringproseries.com/live timing. All one word, live timing. So now here in 4th spot is Pipo Rodriguez, continuing his excellent season, and in behind him is Olsen, who has his team. Oh, look at that slide from home and up on 2 wheels as well for Miguel Cardozo. That was a moment he won't forget in a hurry. He'll be a bit more careful in the coming laps.
Yeah, these guys are pushing hard. Olsen, I think we should keep an eye on Olsen as well in the future, because he's one of the guys who's just pushing like crazy in these cars. And you see Cardozo. Maybe this is why he hasn't scored so many points this season, because he does stuff like this.
Oh, that is 170 kilometers an hour over the top of that mountain in that position, and he just about held on to it. Gave the wall a little nudge. I think Holm, probably distracted by what was happening in front of him, gave a little slide out that corner also as well. But everyone's held on to it. Not seeing too many people in the wall just yet, and they're all doing pretty well. So pretty impressed so far. As we look in behind, here is the battle for 9th, 10th and 8th. You're just holding off Brugman there in that time around into the chase, as Junt comes now out of the chase with Brugman in his tow. It's Cardozo behind Olsen. Holm is just off the back of Cardozo a little bit, as Junt is under attack from Brugman. Siggy in there also as well. So McGregor, Hack, Rodriguez, Olsen and Cardozo, Holm, Junt and Brugman make their way through for the first time. Second time, sorry, should I say. There is Siggy, won a race this season so far, likely to finish 4th in the championship, and is in 10th currently. Won't be very happy with that though. He'll be looking to make some progress, and he's looking now at the battle still up ahead of him, raging on for 8 spots. That's Junt and Brugman still side by side, and Junt is not known for giving up his position easily, is he, Rob?
No, he's not. And these two, they already had an accident 2 rounds ago.
They did. Eastern Creek, yes.
Eastern Creek, yes. So I'm pretty sure Junt hasn't forgotten that. He's not the type of person who forgets something like this.
Not.
So he will defend hard.
And his elbows will be sharp, no doubt about that. His shoulders will be firm also as well. And if his hips need any work, well, they'll be made of titanium or steel, whatever that side of that court is made of. As now, this is, let's say, Siggy looking at the battle ahead. There's some smoke coming from the guys as they go downhill. NPS it's an impossibly fast track race. It really shouldn't be as fast as it is, considering how close all the walls are. But it really is. It's fantastic to watch and fantastic to race at.
Oh, Junt!
In the wall, Junt! In the wall! He's hit the wall with his front end. Brugman clipped him as a result. He's lost his front bumper, and Siggy's nipped through. Let's quickly catch a replay of that. We'll just go back 1 spot. There we are. So here is Holm. What's happened here, Rob?
Oh, he clipped the wall on the inside.
Did he clip the wall on the inside?
Looked like it.
Look, he's on board. No, just
he didn't. That's a weird accident.
A big slide, and then it terrifically overcorrected. He hit the wall hard, and it's cost Brugman. So let's go back to live action here, see where he is now. And there we are. Brugman's got back past Kevin Siggy going down the straight, so managed to hold him off just about. And the wounded Junt now crosses the line for the 3rd time. Caput still leading.
What a shame for Brugman. He's not been the luckiest driver this season. He had a couple of excellent rounds, but also quite a few rounds where he was a bit unlucky when he was involved in these things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs to be too happy that it was Brugman all the time by himself after what happened at Eastern Creek. But just on the Easter watch, he's up to 14th at the moment. Brugman is still under massive pressure. I mean, you don't lose that much performance for losing that front bumper, but you do lose some, and the tyres will wear more quickly as well. Oh, and up the inside, what did he fall? Siggy pulled out that after the last second. Going to go for a daring move to Brugman there. One of the moves of the race, no doubt about that. Let's go back to Ruben Hinsterbig. Here he is, all by himself now, in fact, actually. So he's escaped the clutches of the group behind him. That's Mike Bell and Thomas Jacobs in behind. So he's managed to get past both of them. And now he'll be setting his sights. Who's out ahead of him? That's Ethan Bass, I believe, ahead of him. But Ethan's had a decent season, hasn't he, Rob?
Oh, Ethan's going off!
He's gone! Puncher! He's got a puncher, surely!
Yeah, rear left puncture.
Yeah, that's what happened here. Did he clip the wall coming out of Reed Park and Sulman. He must have done this. Only place you could get it. Yes, look at that. He's hit the wall.
Oh, that's unlucky. Oh, he gets it there. He gets it later on.
Gets it later on as well. Do you think it's later on that he gets it, that gets the puncher? That's hard to tell, isn't it?
It's probably the first one was very slight contact.
Yeah, we won't be able to see that, unfortunately. So let's go back to Reed Heath and talk about where. Oh, actually, it's actually around 13th place now. Sorry, should I say? But he's made good progress. This is live action now. Sorry about that.
He's still quite far away from the big midfield battle, isn't he?
He is, yeah. There's a big gap now because Bass has disappeared. Actually, can't see anybody ahead of him. Let's see from Heaston's point of view. He can't see anyone. Look, it's clear back ahead of him. Distance? No,
just
actually, absolutely no. It's just a little bit of smoke. It's all clear track. For his kind of pace, it's actually a good thing because he'll catch it very quickly. As the guys ahead of him battle, and the guys ahead of him are these guys. Look at these guys. We got 12th through. That's 12 through 4th, I think.
I think Junt has gone past Holm as well with the missing front bumper.
So it's not harming Junt at all. Brugman's under attack here from Cameron Brewster down the inside. Brewster takes the position, and Brugman is wounded. I think Brugman's been hurt more by that contact that Junt had with the wall than Junt himself.
It's not only
himself in this situation.
It's not only the damage itself. It's also that the car will behave differently, and on such a track you need confidence in the car. Otherwise, you can't go fast. And probably for Junt, it doesn't take him so long to adapt to the new circumstances. But maybe to Brugman a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. Junt is very good at adapting, isn't he? We saw at Oran Park, he took his first Touring Pro Series win at his 1058th try. I'm joking, but he has done a lot of races here at TPS without a podium, and it finally happened with a podium and a win at Oran Park. And it was in the wet, which obviously is not a common occurrence, and Junt was one of the ones who adapted the fastest. He has plenty of talent, but he often has been called out for his lack of commitment to improving that talent. But of course, it did pay off that particular thing, and it may be, just as Rob said, that the fact that the car is now behaving slightly differently, that Junt is adapting quicker than Brugman and better.
Yep. Junt is one of the guys who races just about everything. He can drive open wheelers, touring cars, ETs. It doesn't matter. So he's also doing lots of leagues at the same time. So I think for him it's not such a big difference as it is for people who only seen these cars recently.
Oh, hello. I didn't see Kevin Sigger there pop out from until he popped out from the side of Adrian. Oh, contact there. Paul was getting stuck in this race, whether he likes it or not. Another type of driver that really likes to bang door mirrors and bang door handles. He's getting stuck in. He's still side by side with Siggy, and Siggy has seen him off now out of the whole corner. He's putting away the result.
Yeah, great pace from Junt here. Holmes looking again. On the inside now.
Not quite going to do. Oh, it's almost a bit of contact there as Siggy decided to take the apex at the last second, and right back ahead of Brewster once again. Brugman, here he is. So he may be finally adapting to that different behaviour of that car. Aston South has been at the back of this pack for quite a while and not making any progress so far. But Siggy is making slow progress here. Remember, he qualified in 3rd spot, dropped back to 4th after the first corner, and went wide at turn 2 at Griffin's Bend, I believe. Because just saw in the background while we were watching the leaders. And he ended up falling all the way back to 10th, I think, wasn't it, in the end, Rob? And now he's back to 8th.
That's not a place to pass.
Oh, what on earth are they doing? No, it's going to be an accident. Surely, what on earth are they doing? And Siggy loses a position as a result. And that, I'm afraid, is his just desert. You cannot try and pass a car in that position, especially not around the outside. And Siggy just needs to cool his blood a little bit here, because he is known for being hot-headed and getting stuck in. But that was not a place to pass, was it, Rob?
No, and I think this has been a little bit the story of Siggy's championship so far. From the pace, he's one of the closest to Cup, definitely. He's very, very fast, but he's had a number of weird incidents and, weird unnecessary incidents, I would say. And also a bit of technical issues that just cost him lots of points. And yeah, this time it almost was an unnecessary incident as well, because in this corner, I mean, even if you don't hit the car in front of you, you go off on the inside and it's very bumpy there, the tarmac area on the inside. So it's very easy to lose your car there, and then you cause a massive pile-up.
And Holm on the charge. Look at this. He's challenging Yunt now on the inside. Yunt not giving him any position there. And you're absolutely right, Rob. I mean, he has had quite a few incidents this season so far. The most famous one would be the chopping off of Hardwick at Sandown on the final lap. A completely understandable move from a racer's point of view, but
well, just ahead.
Not looked on. Just ahead. Yes. Look at this. Cardozo around the outside. What a move! Right, finally get up to him. There we go. Cardozo around the outside. Great move there, and Olsen fighting back up towards the cutting, but Cardozo should have the line, and he does, and he holds the position. Let's try and see that on the replay, because that was such a good move. That deserves a replay. He's obviously got a better exit out of Hell Corner, drafted him up straight. Olsen defended, but round the outside, the Lowndes on John Bow-esque. Cardozo takes the position from Tobias Olsen.
And these two, they are enjoying the race of their season, yeah, definitely.
They are. And Olsen's been in great form lately. Remember at Brands Hatch, he qualified ahead of you, Rob, and he was running well, but dropped back eventually, didn't he? So he's got the talent, but again, one of those drivers gets involved, you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in Brands Hatch in the first race on the other side of the fence in turn 1.
There you go. How did he get to the side of the fence?
I don't know, I think he rolled. He rolled over the curtain, and just fell over it. I don't know. Didn't see him roll.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that's also the thing with Olsen. He's pushing so hard. He's just pushing his car to the absolute limit, and sometimes it's a little bit more than his abilities, I would say. So especially on this track, I was a little bit scared for him, But he seems to be doing very well at the moment. He's running 6th place. It's an excellent position. And pace-wise, you're absolutely right. He just picked it up so much in the second half of the season, both with this and in the Super.
He has, and he's improved very much as a driver. I remember way back when he was incident-prone and slow as well. I mean, he was a combination of a driver you just do not want in your team or to medium track at all. But he's actually got the pace now. He's a bit of a loose cannon at times, but that comes with experience also as well, and has improved a heck of an amount. Remember, he was way down the TPS ELO rankings at the start of this winter season for Touring Pro Series, and has hauled himself up quite a lot. Had a low score, which actually has peeved off quite a few people, because they don't get any points for beating him, of course, when he had a low score. But when they finished ahead of him, they lose absolutely loads of points because he had such a low score. So, but that has evened itself out somewhat to a degree now, because Olsen has moved himself up through those rankings.
Where has Holm gone? I'm sorry, but where has Holm and Siggy gone?
Holm and Siggy, you're absolutely correct. Yes, Siggy is 12th and Holm is 16th.
Something must have happened there. Not sure. Can we get a replay, or is that just probably too late?
I'm trying to get back to Kevin Siggy. It's not letting me. 1 second here. There we go. There is Kevin Siggy. We'll never get a replay of that. It does look okay, doesn't it? But there must have been a coming together between these two, because remember they were close together on track. Holm was the one who took advantage of Siggy's daft move on David Yunt, and now he's back to 12th, and Holm is back to 16th. And he's got damage. He's got and he's got more damage. He keeps doing that as well. Who's he got in front of him? I think
could be Defray. I think
that is Nicky Defray. You're absolutely correct. Ricochet is the one behind him in the TPS default livery, and Bell ahead of these two also well. So Holm and Siggy involved in an incident.
We don't know for sure. Maybe there was 2 separate incidents. This track is quite difficult, so it's just speculation from us.
Well, I'll leave the speculation to you, Rob. Speculation Elf, as he is commonly known. And it is Capper still leading by that healthy margin. You can see all the way back.
Oh, there's a car which is completely... If you just go 1 place back to McGregor, he's just lapping a car which has no body parts at all.
That's Tonga Guardia, very much in the wars. Look at his car. His car is battered. He must have hit quite a few walls, or maybe hit one wall extremely hard. But he's going to be lapped now.
I hope he knows that he's getting blue flags here.
Yes, because that wasn't... I would have thought he would have let him through just before. But that let him go through there without any incident. And now here comes that. But of course, at this track as well, it's so difficult to let people go through. Because once you're on top of the mountain here, there's nowhere for anyone to go. And now he's blocking as well. Pete Rodriguez, gets out of the way just in time. And people will be glad of that as he continues his pursuit, his successful pursuit at the moment, Rob, of Chris Hack. He's closing that gap.
Yeah, seems like my race winner prediction was a little bit off. But Hack's still in a solid podium position. And Rodriguez, once again, like pretty much the whole second half of the season, he's challenging for the podium position.
Yeah, he's been improving hand over fist. He was actually messaging me saying, asking why he was so low in the TPS ELO rank. He felt his performances should be further up, but since he asked that, he's actually knuckled down, done much better than before.
Yeah, I just got a message from my pit lane reporter, David Carter, and he said that Holm and Siggy crashed at turn 2, and that just happened when we switched cameras to, I think, to watch the Olsen battle.
Oh, I see, because yes, we were watching that Olsen Cardozo battle, weren't we? We talked about Olsen, and we just missed it in the background. Do apologise for that, guys. We can't catch everything, of course, and Cardozo did deserve his little moment of glory there, going around the outside of Tobias Olsen at turn 2. But remember, this battle here between Rodriguez and Hack, this is a battle in the championship also as well. A battle for a top 5 in the championship. Hack is 13 points behind Rodriguez with these 2 races remaining. So he'll be hoping he can hold him off and maybe just persuade Ross McGregor to let him go through, get a few more points. But that'll take a bit of doing, I'm sure, although they are both very good friends. But Rodriguez looking menacing. Look at that. He is chewing into that gap up to these THR guys.
Yeah, he certainly seems to have the quicker car at the moment. I'm sure McGregor will not heck him, because McGregor has to fight for second place, and if he reverses the place, there's still a lot that can happen. So I don't think he can really afford to let him go.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with the rules or just forgotten, we have a reverse grid for the second race. And now the reverse grid is the top between 6 and 10 are reversed for the second race. So wherever you finish in this race determines where you will start in the second race. But if you finish between 6 and 10, your positions reversed depending on the random draw, which is determined by the total time of the winner and his final total race time. I've explained that really badly. I do apologise. It will become very clear once we finish the race and go into that second session. Oh, in the wall! That is, must be Matt Richards in the wall.
It could be Brewster, I'm not entirely sure.
It could be Brewster, but I'm sure Brewster's a bit further up the road than Richards. Unless
Brewster's 19th.
Quite a while. Yeah.
Lap down.
Let's have a look.
Where's Richards? Is Richards even in the race? He's 7th.
Richards is... this entire time we've been calling Cameron Brewster, Matt Richards, and vice versa. My apologies. So it's Cameron Brewster who is struggling a huge amount at the moment. There he is, Cameron Brewster, number 39. It's actually Matt Richards who has been doing the better of the two. My apologies for that. I thought they were swapped over. But Matt is having a great run here, actually, in fact, considering his recent poor form in the Touring Pro Series. He's in that 7th spot.
We've missed something as well, because both Brookman and Asensao
they're still
dropped back, and that seems to be
yeah.
just passing Lund.
Yes, he's caught up to this group. We said they were battling, and he had lots of clear track to catch up. And there we have it. Heaksabig is up to 8th. And importantly, he's well within that zone of getting a decent grid position for race 2.
Lund seems to be paying the penalty for driving around the car from bumper now, because it should give him a lot more understeer, and that's not good for the tire.
No, it's not. Actually, like you say, it is taking its toll the further it goes. Get on! That's great! Too late for that, and off goes home. No surprise there. Asensao rally crosses his way through the accident doors as well. Let's have a look at that on the replay.
That looked like a very, very poor mistake from Asensao. Just braked way too late.
He did. Absolutely far too late. Realised it far too late. I mean, he hit Yunt and still went off himself. He was going that quickly. Yunt recovered very quickly here, actually. Did a good job. But Asensao, that's a poor move from him. And another driver who likes to get involved, it has to be said, is Fabio Asensao. One of the reasons why he's never really challenged for a win seriously. He has a few podiums. And
he's got only one podium.
Has one podium, sorry. But yeah, there's lots of top 5s, isn't he? And great qualifying pace. But in the races, some mistakes tends to happen. And there we are. He's got a matching front end to David Judd now as well. He's in number 27, that black car, ahead of Thomas
Oh,
Jacobs.
and he's off. He's got a
He's
puncture.
off as well. Yeah, he must have a puncture. Straight.
Yeah,
off
that
he
should be
goes.
race over now.
Yeah. So he will just have to just crawl around. We've not got long to go in this race. The next time around will be the last lap for our leader and our champion-elect, Risto Kappert. Debut in the Touring Pro Series this is. He hails from Estonia, has set all kinds of records on other games elsewhere, comes with a big fan club also as well, Rob. And he just sum up his season, because it's been a fantastic one, really. A couple of mistakes here and there, but proving that he's human.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning of the season, when Tim Heinemann was pulling his great lap times, and he was he was the championship favorite, he was the reigning champion, and Kappert, he was the one who really took the fight to him. He was the one who was practicing a lot, preparing very hard, just to try to match Heinemann's pace. And as soon as Heinemann cheated and was therefore removed from the championship, Kappert didn't really have that much competition anymore. He's just been the fastest driver, and he kept it up until the end of the season. He was always very prepared, always fastest guy. Actually, I think he was on every track after Heinemann was removed. He was the fastest driver. Made a few mistakes, but they didn't cost him that much in the end because he was so much quicker than everyone else. And yeah, once again, he'll win the race here. And win also the championship.
He will, and a deserved champion he will be as well, because even when Heinemann was pulling off those insane lap times and that great speed in those races, Kappert never alluded to anything other than Heinemann being fantastic, didn't he? He just said, Tim, this is fantastic, this is amazing. If I lose the championship to you, maybe it won't be so bad. He was an excellent sportsman, wasn't he? And this is a guy who loves competition. Absolutely lives for competition. You can tell the way his body language, his posts on the forum, the way he races the car, the way he practices, and it's great to see him, and it's been a privilege to see him out on track as well.
Yeah, he's been a great driver this season, and I think he really deserves the championship. Only got one corner to go, and then he's the champion.
Yeah, Risto Kappert now then comes down to the final corner of race 1 of the final round of Virtual Carrera Cup 2015, and he is champion. Well done to him. What a fantastic achievement that is. He has become champion in his first season in Touring Pro Series, following on from Tim Heinemann doing the same in 2014. Very well done to him. Let's check back in the other positions and see where they finished. Second was Ross McGregor. Third, Hackey held off Pipo Rodriguez. With fifth, Miguel Cardozo flashes his lights across the line. He's pleased with that because he has had a long drought of poor results. And here comes Heastervik. He's finished sixth. So he'll guarantee himself to be in a decent position for the reverse grid and take that fight to Ross McGregor for second in the championship. With seventh going to Matt Richards. 8th, Tobias Olsen in the end. He's made a mistake somewhere which has given away 2 positions. With Siggy in 9th, 10th Lars Brugman, 11th Thomas Jacobs. Everyone's going down the winners' enclosure. Only winners are supposed to go down there, guys. You're barred. You get banned. 13th across the line will come poor Adrian Holm after he was involved in some kind of incident with Kevin Siggy. Across the line, 14th comes Mike Bell with Defray 15th. 16th was Łukasz Demelin. 17th Fabio Assunção. 18th Cameron Brewster, 19th was Meervold, with 20th Ethan Bass, 21st Guardia, 22nd Allington. Neither of those finished the race. Neither of those two, sorry, should I say. So well done to Risto Kappert. Rob, just give us your thoughts on that race, not just on Risto, but on what happened in that mid-pack there with that exciting racing.
Yeah, I think at the front it was a bit boring because we had for a short moment that Rodriguez was catching up, but that was really everything that happened. But in the midfield we had someone like Siggy who was probably a little bit faster, and he dropped a little bit back at the start, so he tried to make up some positions. Then we had guys like Olsen and Cardozo driving the best races of the season, so they certainly wanted to hold on to the positions. And it just got very close, got very bunched up. And well, on this track, it's very easy to hit a wall. So unfortunately, Holm lost out in the battle, and Jund later on as well. But it was really interesting, really exciting fight, and for Heasterbeek, it just it turned out to be not that bad in the end, because he made up a lot of positions, and it keeps the fight for second place open.
That it does, and the top 8 will be reversed for this second race. So Tobias Olsen will get that pole position. Maybe he knew it was going to be the top 8.
Yeah, well, that's very good for the racing, I would say, because he's a very spectacular driver. Tobias Olsen.
He is. I'm not quite sure how pleased the other drivers will be as a result of that, but I'm sure that he'll enjoy himself anyway out there in front. And that's going into this warm-up session now for you guys now then. And it will just be around 8 minutes for the next race. So drivers just get a chance to catch their breath and go again for this second race. Now, considering that we've got Tobias Olsen on pole position here, Rob, and Caput obviously now starting in 8th. Ruud Heasterbeek in 3rd. Who do you think will win this second race?
I'm not entirely sure how good Heasterbeek's lap times are. I'll just look it up. But he's, at the moment, I would say Heasterbeek is a pretty good candidate.
And Fabio Asensau was just apologising to David Jund as well. So nice to see that he apologised at least. Yeah, I mean, what is going to happen there, Rob? I mean, Heasterbeek did an impressive job, didn't he? Coming back from 22nd on the grid all the way up to 6th spot.
Yeah, I just looked it up with the times, and Heasterbeek did the fastest lap of 2 minutes 5.9, which is pretty good. But it's a little bit off compared to Hack, for example, on a 2 minute 5.5, or Rodriguez on a 2 minute 5.3. So I'm not entirely sure if he's got the pace to win. But he's a very calm and collected driver, and very experienced as well. So he's a good shout. But then again, Risto Caput did a 2 minute 4.4. So he was almost a second faster than Rodriguez. He was the second fastest. So maybe Caput can win it again.
Maybe. So he's going to come from 8th spot here. We are going to have a bit more excitement for this final race of the season as a result. Sorry if that was a little bit boring for you guys, of course, because that's
well, I don't think it was boring at all.
No, not boring, but it was boring up front. Sorry, should I say? There was no intrigue, was there? It was a pretty foregone conclusion that Caput was going to win the race and then win the championship. And then, of course, had a big gap straight away at the start of the race also well. So we'll hope for more action for the race win here. Sorry, should I say? I didn't mean to say the whole race was boring. Actually, pretty eventful.
Yeah, and while we have a bit of time, I just want to point out something else, and that's Walk Racing. They've won the team's championship, not only at this round, but already at the previous round.
They had, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good season from them. Heasterbeek and Caput, of course, it's a very good combination. You weren't really sure before the season starts if Caput could be that good, because no one had seen him race. But he turned out to be a pretty good signing for Walk Racing.
A pretty good signing. A bit of an understatement there. And this is the second Drivers' Championship also as well for Walk Racing, as well as their second Teams Championship. After all, they won the Teams Championship and the Drivers' Championship in the VMC in the last season that we had with Campfield and Patrick Racing for them. So Walk Racing finally getting some of the success that Mr. Bogdan, the team owner, has been craving, Rob.
Yeah, I think they've established themselves as one of the top teams. And the Super Tourers, of course, THR Orange has already won the team's championship, so
they have.
It's a fair split, I would say, between Walk and THR, the drivers and teams titles. But Walk Racing is now a name that you always have to have on your list.
You do, absolutely. And this is the drivers' standings for you. Risto Caput, there you go. That is the confirmation that he cannot be caught, unless he gets a humongous penalty, which is very, very unlikely.
I don't think that they are updated yet.
Oh no, they haven't updated yet. My apologies. Let's refresh that for you now then. It's a very similar outlook, to be honest. Bristol Capper has a massive lead. There we go. My apologies for that. Bristol Capper, there we go. He has a 58-point lead over Ross McGregor in that championship, with only 30 on offer in this last race. And now there's a 10-point gap between McGregor and Heasterbeek in this race. So that's going to be very intriguing, Rob, I have to say, in this race. We'll keep a lookout for that, because Ross will be starting in 7th and Rude will be starting in 3rd. Siggy, as we were saying, has a very lonely 4th spot, whereas the gap between Rodriguez and Hack has come down to 11 points. And with the mix-up in the grid positions here and the action that can happen, and it's anyone who can get that. Brugman might get involved in that as well, but unlikely, I would say.
It's still very interesting, I would say, for a few positions. I just see David Junt in 8th place. He won't be happy with that, because that's his standard finishing position in TPS leagues. Must be like the 5th or 6th time he finished 8th, which is not a bad position at all. But he just always ends up in this place. Adrian Holman 9th only. After winning the VTM title the season before, you could say it's been a little bit of a disappointment, but well, then again, he had a few good races here. Certainly not putting the same effort in as in VTM.
No, I don't think the car's suiting quite as much in it. And lots of these drivers have a lot more experience than him in these cars also as well. I mean, apart from Capper, I don't know how many Capper has driven these cars before, but he's clearly a superstar. But McGregor did the entire season before. Heasterbeek lots more than in one season before in these cars. Siggy the same. Rodriguez, Hack, Brugman, Junt, all the people ahead of him have all done at least one season in these cars, haven't they?
Yeah, Holmes' performances, they also tell me that I'm not the only one who's finding it a little bit difficult in these cars.
Oh, who else?
Well, Holm.
Holm. Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah. I mean, they are a little bit tricky to figure out. And lots of people do say that. They've got a little knack to them that you have to unlock to find that last half a second, and that can be very, very frustrating, I'm sure. But Tobias Olsen has cemented himself in the top 15 now, then, overtaking Glabach and Hardwick, as you can see. And with Cardozo picking up plenty of points, and that 5th spot will definitely improve his mood. But look at that battle there. Aston Sauer, Brewster, and Jacobs, all very, very close still, and all can and probably will overtake Tim Heinemann also as well, which will be nice for those guys. Tim, of course, only having points from 3 rounds of this championship due to his disqualification from Adelaide and Oran Park, and the rest of the season as a result also as well. So we've got just a few minutes to go in this warm-up session now then, Rob. A bit of a heated discussion going on in the server, isn't there?
Well, I cannot see the discussion in the server myself. I just heard it, just picked it up in the paddock, that the drivers are getting a bit angry.
And it's apparently it's Siggy and Pipo Rodriguez. Not quite sure what they've been talking about. I don't think they were even involved. Oh, maybe maybe Rodriguez on the first lap pushed Siggy. Maybe that's what happened. So Siggy certainly did his fair share of pushing in the rest of the race. So but Rodriguez wouldn't be a stranger to controversy out there on track either, I wouldn't say. So we'll have to see after the race to see whether we've got any penalties for you guys. You can always keep a check on all of the standings in the Touring Pro Series by going to results.touringproseries.com. Or if you prefer to be a bit quicker and just go to the series that you're bothered about, just use the shortcut. So it's touringproseries.com. And then, of course, for this series, it's a VCC, Virtual Carrera Cup. So it's /VCC/standings. So very easy to get to for you guys. And there's plenty of links and statistics all on there. GPCOS is not a pretty system, it has to be said, is it, Rob? But it is pretty in-depth, keeps lots and lots of records. So it is a fascinating study of the history of Touring Pro Series and all the races that we've had here. We've had, I think, something over 400 drivers have driven more than 5 races in the past 5 years. Well, is it 5 years? It's 5 years, 5.5 years. So
quite a long time.
Yeah, we do, and lots of races as well when you think about it. So it's been quite a long time. We are having a few months off at Touring Pro Series over the next few months after the end of VST, which is a week on Wednesday, and that's the championship decider between Wiesemuller and Davis at Silverstone. And we will be back later in the year with batteries recharged and fresh appetites for something new and a new direction for you guys. So don't worry, we will be back at some point in some form in the coming months. Now, we're about to go onto the grid now then. I'm not sure if you heard me there, because probably the announcer was making his customary announcement about people leaving the track and that sort of thing. Oh, well, actually, no, because I unmuted. That was very good of me. There we go. So actually didn't hear that. That's great, because that's the one thing we can't turn off. So onto the grid they go. And you're saying Heasterbeek for this win, Rob?
No, I'll say Capet.
You say who?
Capet.
Capet. Okay, I'm going to go Heasterbeek.
Alright.
I was right for the first race. So
I was wrong. I was not very good with my predictions, to be honest this year.
THR bias is what it is.
It's not THR bias. Not always.
No, joking. No, it's just a common thing. THR bias. Or racing bias. Never mind. So off on the formation lap, there you go. This is Blue Heasterbeek, not Heasterbeek. This is bias. On the pole position, he's got Matt Richards just in behind him. I mean, Matt could be a bit of a dark horse for this win. If he gets away early and they all start battling behind him, he's got the pace.
Yeah, Matt is also one of the drivers who should have the TPS win by now, but due to various reasons, either bad luck or, just not being on the pace or something, he hasn't achieved it yet. So maybe this is a good opportunity for him.
Yeah, this should be a great opportunity. I mean, he's often been in positions that tyre wear is something that's always played a part in losing out. In BTM, the season you competed in, Rob, in season 5.
Yeah.
He was the DRM one. Tyre wear was something that he really struggled with. But he's developed that since. But bad luck or his own mistakes, as you say, have come between him and an elusive first career win at Touring Pro Series. And this is actually his last chance for the next few months to even get that win. So, hopefully he's going to pull out for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers will try. Also, obviously, doesn't have a win. I don't think he's got a podium.
I don't think so either. Oh, actually, we're not looking at people. We're looking at cars. There we go.
I know he's got the fastest lap. He got one in the Clios in one race.
Did he?
Yeah, in that season where Heck won. Final race.
Oh yes, in season 5 it was, wasn't it?
5. Yeah.
Yeah, season 5.
He's certainly quick, but I would not really predict him for the win. But he's one of the guys who will try everything, I'm sure.
I'm sure, and I'm sure lots of people aren't looking forward to trying to get past him either, because like we said before, he just like a bit of a scrap. But we like that at TPS, don't we, Rob? We like a bit of a scrap. We don't like people just let people go through, because there's no fun watching it then, is there? It'd just be boring. It'd be Formula 1 then, wouldn't it? We don't want Formula 1. We want door-to-door bashing and touring car action. To a point, of course.
And it's also the last race of the season, like you said before.
Oh, and it's last race for a few months in these cars. This could be... Oh, yeah. Rob, don't say that. It could be all kinds of carnage. Take back what I said. Let everyone go through. It's fine. Please. I don't want to have lots of PMs after this race.
Well, we will see how it goes. It's maybe... I'm not sure about Bathurst as the final track of the season. It's a very exciting circuit, and it's got the name and the format for the for the championship final, but I'm not sure if it offers enough space, really.
Yeah, it's true. But it's been a bit of a tradition, isn't it, at Touring Pro Series, to have it as a finale. It has thrown up some great races over the time, but of course, with it being a longer circuit and a difficult circuit, it does tend to elongate the gaps, doesn't it, between drivers. The lap times tend to be quite a bit further apart. As opposed to somewhere like Brands Hatch Indy, of course, which is a completely other end of the spectrum. As you saw for yourself, you were 2/10 off in qualifying, and you were 15th around that track. I
think someone qualified like 1.6 seconds off and was last or so.
Well, 1.6 seconds is loads around there.
Yeah, and here you probably qualify 1.6 seconds off in your 8th.
Probably in second, knowing Bristol Capet's pace. And people are storming up to their grid boxes there, aren't they? Mike Bell storming in there. He's going to manage to get it slowed down in the end. And everyone's just forming up. Everyone has formed up. That's the signal for us. It always goes on board. I hate that. Lights are on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on display there, and away we go. That's a quick change of lights, and Olsen gets a great start away from the line. He's holding off Matt Richards into that first, and Matt has a little bit of luck. No, Olsen chops him off. Matt makes sure he doesn't get into the back of him. go. It's first and second for those two guys on the front row. And in behind him, that looks like
Cardozo
Miguel
and Hack.
Cardozo. Yes, Miguel Cardozo and Hack. Now side by side, up the hill they go. And now down the hill. And then up in it once again as they go into Griffin's Bend. This is where Siggy came to grief last race. Oh, look at Olsen sideways entering and exiting the Griffin's Bend there as they now come up towards the cutting for the first time.
Very good start from Olsen, and he also seems to have a good pace initially. And who's that walk car that just went by?
He used to be.
All right, so good start for him as well.
Yeah, he speaks up to 4th, Hacks to 5th. So he speaks actually dropped a position. Remember, he qualified. He was third in the grid. So and there is Caput. There he is.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, it's very close. Caput there is in 7th place. Yes, he's in 7th place, so he's only gained 1 position. Oh, and Cardozo deep at the S's in. The Blues obviously rushing early on in this race. And look at Olsen, he's disappearing. It's Richards holding the field up at the moment. There he is, look. Richards now has... actually, we'll go not 23rd, we'll go to 2nd. There we go. Richards has Cardozo all over the back of him at the moment. Down combo straight for the first time. Final race of the season, final race of the Road 2015. What can Cardozo do here? Never ever had a Giro Series podium. Now is his chance. He's never going to get a chance, I don't think.
Oh, is Richards letting him through? Looks like it.
He didn't make...
Oh no!
Oh, Cardozo!
No, it's coming back on track!
Oh, he didn't come back on the track. Oh, and we were just saying he's never had a better chance.
And that's Brookman.
And that's Brookman
and
Junt. So
Junt's missing a few body parts. I hope they didn't come together again.
So
can we get a replay from Junt?
Yeah, let's get a replay on this. So here we are. Oh, it's Junt into the back of Brookman this time.
Oh, what was Junt doing there?
That looks like.
Oh, it could have been Brewster.
Could have been Brewster. I can't quite see who that was. Where I can't.
Who's that?
Number 37. That's is that Glavach?
No, I've got no idea who that is.
It's actually Sven de Vries who's racing without signing up. Never mind. He'll get a pasting from me after the race. But never mind. Back to the front of the field. Here is actually we'll come off the replay. Live action now. There is Olsen. He's leading, and he has Matt Richards in behind him. There is Matt Richards, and 3rd is Ruud Heesbeek. So he, of course, has taken that position now from Cardozo.
Olsen was very close to the wall there.
Well, that's nothing new, is it, Rob? Nothing new at all with Tobias Olsen as they fly through the park for the 2nd time now. There is Chris Hack in 4th position. Remember, he's fighting Pepe Rodriguez for that position in the championship, that 5th position, and Rodriguez is right behind him, exactly where he needs to be. With 6th is Heesbeek and 7th is Ross McGregor. All status quo just at the moment, and Siggy has caught up to the back of this group as well, so he's in 8th.
It certainly looks very close, and I think it will be very close for the battle for 2nd place in the championship as well, if it stays like this. But I can guarantee you it won't stay like this. There's still a lot of action to come.
Absolutely, and we're going to go on board with Heesbeek here, and he's looking in the same place that Cardozo was a lap ago. This time not close enough, and Richard doesn't have to yield. Richard holds his ground. Sensible driving on the front for Richard before. If you see Astel coming with the head of steam, you let him go, not fully let him go, just kind of let him get on with it, because of course he was taking position, kept his head, and Cardozo, make a mistake, and Richards, great exit there, wasn't it, from the deck?
Yeah, just close to get to Olsen, almost completely.
So maybe a small mistake from Olsen, and a great sector from Richards at the same time. Remember, I'm telling you, he does have the talent and the pace. Can he keep his head together though? There's the top 5, bit of a gap between the top 5 and 6th now, and the 6th now is Caput. He's still in 6th actually, should I say. So he's got Ross McGregor all behind him. Maybe Caput's had a little bit of a nibble at Pepe Rodriguez in 5th place, because he's actually lost some ground, and now McGregor pulls out for a move down the inside on the champion, and McGregor is squeezing through out of the curb goes Caput, side by side now coming up towards the hill. It's up to the cutting. Here is Caput and McGregor, 1st and 2nd in the championship, and McGregor is not let through by Caput at this point. Remember, Caput's playing the team game here also as well. McGregor and Heesbeek are fighting for 2nd in the championship, and Heesbeek is Caput's direct teammate.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Capet is so slow at this stage. I mean, he's dominated the first race, so I don't think he should be like trying to play any games here because that will backfire.
I don't think he is. I think he's just made a small mistake or got involved with Pete Rodriguez and got backed up because he's pulling away a little bit now. There we go. A few corners and he's pulled away a little bit of a gap on Ross McGregor as a result. But he's obviously making sure, very determined, doubly determined, should I say, to not let McGregor go through and pick up more points in that battle. Remember, between Heasterby and McGregor for second in the championship. The gap is at 10 points between those guys, and with Heasterby in third at the moment, there he is. Heasterby would pick up 25 points, and with McGregor in 8th, how many points is that, Rob? Help me out. 21, 19, 17, 15. So we're actually looking very close in the championship at the moment between those guys. So that's a developing story. Keep an eye on that. Olsen still leads.
Oh, Olsen!
Just from Richards. Richards has a look back to the other side now as well because Olsen's slow. And the other side once again. Olsen blocking the inside. 3 wide down towards the final corner. Olsen chops across us a little bit to try and take the corner. Richards now has to hold off Heasterby, and he does. Just gives Heasterby a little bit of a nudge to let him know, no, you're not coming past that easily, boyo. And Richards covers now the middle of the track and holds off Heasterby into the first corner. It's game on, Rob.
Yeah, Richards was put into a somewhat uncomfortable position by Olsen there when Olsen made a mistake, and he defended very well against Heasterby. Oh, that was Guardia, I think.
On fire, going up the hill. Talk about on fire. Here is Matt Richards. So Guardia out the race. Around the outside, Matt Richards. Will he make it stick? No, yes he will.
No!
Sideways.
No! Olsen has got damage.
Look at the flying debris in the background, but Richards, he takes the lead of this race. In the background there, 2 wide also well going into the cutting. That is Cardozo and Hack battling away also as well. Remember Cardozo?
I think it's Rodriguez. I think it's Rodriguez.
I think it's Rodriguez. That's Rodriguez. Yes, it is Rodriguez. Rodriguez has made his way up to 4th, has got past. Where is Cardozo? Oh, sorry, it is Cardozo because I also he made that mistake earlier in the race. I do apologise.
Oh!
Now then,
Heasterby was in the wall.
Yeah, he's been in the wall because he's battling with Olsen. Olsen made a mistake coming up the top of the hill through the park as well, and Olsen ended up with making Heasterby in the wall. Where is Heasterby? He's fallen back to, is that 6th place for Heasterby? Yes, it is. 6th place for Heasterby, and he now has Capet in front of him and Ross McGregor behind him. That will suit Ross McGregor very much. And like we were saying, Rob, Olsen is the guy who is mixing it up.
Yeah, I think Olsen maybe should have backed out of it when Richards was going through, because he just tried to hold on there and for the lead and just damage his own car. So that was probably not the best. But look at the gap Richards is pulling. He's got an amazing opportunity here.
He absolutely has. Remember, we are only on the 4th lap of 12. Just a third away in this race, and Olsen makes the same mistake he made a lap ago. And Capet around the outside. No, Olsen blocks him off. But it means that Rodriguez has gone through. Rodriguez through. Hack trying to make his way through also well on the outside of Capet. Heasterby getting involved.
Oh no!
Hit Hack off the track. I think Heasterby hit Capet and Capet hit Hack, and Hack has damage. He's now letting his THR Orange teammate go through as well. And there is Holm and singing ball for a 3 wide off the corner. It's all going on here, Rob. What on earth is going on? It is final day Friday fun.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit dirty from that walk racing car. Just put
So look on the replay.
onto the barrier there.
Let's see what we can see here. So let's just go, and it's I think I'm not sure what happened here. I think it's just he hit the curb, didn't he, Capet? I don't think it was a touch from his at all actually in the end.
But that was Capet's fault, I would say.
Yeah, but where's Capet going to go also as well? He's already on the inside, forced there by Olsen.
He's giving him plenty of room though.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Well, Hacker obviously is trying to fight position as well. It's one of those things I would say.
Oh, Olsen!
Oh, Olsen! Oh, it's a huge accident for Tobias Olsen. Where on earth has he gone now down in the field?
I would think he's out of the race.
I would have thought so with an accident like that. Oh, it's all come to grief for him. It's all come to grief. Oh, he just got wide out of the park, and that is the end. Oh, and it's meant that Holm hit him, I think. That's what popped him up in the air like that. We do get a bit of a lag, of course, with those kind of crazy accidents. But Olsen's candle burnt bright, but the candle that burns bright burns the shortest, Rob.
Yeah, what a shame. It was such a good race for him, and then it all went wrong.
Now here is Matt Richards. Remember, he's now leading this race. He's about to finish his 5th lap, and second place behind him is Pipo Rodriguez, and in behind him, somehow, is Risto Caput in 3rd spot now. So after all that, them all giving me a sore throat, it's now Richards from Rodriguez from Caput for the win. I said he's to beat, didn't I, Rob? That's completely wrong now. He's back in 4th spot. But this is a great opportunity for both Rodriguez and Richards to win a race here. Because Rodriguez showed plenty of speed in that last race. He was faster than Hack. And in fact, he was the only driver to get anywhere close to Caput. So he might be able to hold off Caput here and challenge Richards. What do you think, Rob?
I don't know. Caput's already in 3rd, and with the pace that he has shown, it would be very hard. It would be very hard for everyone else. Richards got a small gap, but Richards is also probably the slowest out of all the drivers there. So it remains to be seen. I think it all depends on if Caput can get by Rodriguez quickly or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Matt Richards, you're looking back in that mirror, aren't you? You're just checking that gap every little bit you can, every straight, and you're just hoping that these two have an incident or start battling just for a lap or two, just to give you a bit more breathing space, because the rate these guys are going, they'll be with Matt Richards within 2 laps, which means 5 laps of pressure, which I'm sure Matt Richards, with the speed deficiency that he has compared to these guys, won't be able to withhold.
By the way, what happened to Siggy? I have not seen him at all.
He was fighting with this group, wasn't he? Remember, the 3 wide off the corner with Hack and Holm, if you recall. And he is there. More damage. Well, that's Hack, isn't it? He's in 7th spot, is Siggy. So it's all calmed down for these guys. They've got a gap now to those guys ahead of them. I think that was Rodriguez and Caput. Yes, Caput goes through, drafted Rodriguez down Conrad Straight, and now he has 2nd spot and has another win in his sights in the form of Matt Richards, and passing him in the next 6 laps.
Yeah, and I mean, that's bad news for Richards, really.
It is. That's always that mistake there off the corner. Onto the grass he goes. But the thing is, though, Rob as well, he knows Caput has nothing to lose because he's won the championship already. But that means Matt can go for it. He can battle him as hard as he dares, because he's never won a Touring Pro Series race, and he may as well battle as hard as he can, because he's not going to get another chance for quite a long time now.
Yes, but when you're fighting against someone like Caput, it's very difficult.
Rob.
I mean, I'm just not sure if I was Matt Richards now, I would not be really sure what to do, because he's just, you look at how he's closing the gap as well. He'll just be there at the end of the lap.
He will. What Matt will be hoping is, and what you do in touring car races always, is if the person behind you is much quicker, you just hold on as much as you can, as fairly as you can, and hope that somebody else catches up from behind. In this case, it's Pipo Rodriguez, and in this case, hoping that Pipo puts some pressure on Caput and makes him think about that also as well at the same time. And you just kind of hope it falls in your favour. But yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult here for Matt to hold on for the rest of this race, no doubt about that.
Yeah, Caput's already there, but I think it doesn't matter. I mean, it was just a matter of time until he catches up anyway. So what Richards has to do now is just stop Caput from overtaking him. Just, hold him up as long as possible.
It's going to be very, very difficult. One feels. Let's go on board with... Oh, my apologies. Go on board with Caput and actually press the right buttons here. My apologies. There we go. Oh, no. We're actually not going to get back up to him now. There we go. Now we're aboard with Caput. Oh, he didn't make a move there. So he didn't manage to make a move. Apologies for missing all of that down the straight. But he catches exactly that. We caught just the end of it. And so Caput now slots back in behind Matt Richards. Matt is not going to let him through. The best Matt can hope for here is that he just drives offensively and holds them both up, and Rodriguez and Heathcote get involved as well.
Ooh, Caput's a little bit off the track there.
But Heathcote has got past Rodriguez, look. Heathcote got past Rodriguez, so Heathcote up to 3rd. Rodriguez has dropped back just to make a small mistake. Had quite a gap on Heathcote over the top of the mountain. Maybe went wide in the chase.
Now Richards is already in a pretty bad position.
I'm not quite sure why he went to the inside there. The outside's not where you want to be going up to this.
Well,
hard...
Richards got past Olsen on the outside, so...
Yeah, but this is Kappa. It's not
yeah,
Olsen.
that's true. But he's still holding... Nope.
No. There's no sorry about that, Rob. So you were the optimist in that situation, I was a realist, and Caput is through. And one would expect now then that for the rest of this race, Caput will just open up those long legs of his and the taps on that Porsche engine and pull away and take another win in this brilliant season for him, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, unless he makes a mistake, this win should be his, because I don't think Richards has an answer to that.
No, and here we are on board with it. Driving for Sintra. A bit of a patchy season. And the chance of taking the win in the virtual Super Tours at Oulton Park, and it was bought later on by a backmarker. Lost that win to Toby Davis. Heartbreaking that was for him as well. And he came into this season with high hopes as well in the virtual Carrera Cup. But didn't quite make it happen for one reason or another. And it's not going to quite happen for him here either. But if he just keeps his calm, and keeps his cool, and keeps calm. Keeps his calm should be a phrase, I think, Rob. I think we're going to make it a phrase. Keeps his calm. He will be on for a podium position here, because he's in second spot at the moment, and with Heasterbeek behind him. Oh, well, look at the background there. I think that's McGregor and Rodriguez side by side. Oh, goodness me, that is interesting. Rodriguez is just holding on the inside, McGregor around the outside. Oh, that's a beautiful move from Ross McGregor, I have to say. And great racing from Pipo Rodriguez as well. He didn't shove Ross McGregor off the circuit at any point. He gave him racing room, and that's what the result was. We saw some great racing and great action for us here.
Yeah, and that's good for McGregor as well, because he's staying in touch with Heasterbeek, and at this rate it looks like he will finish second in the championship.
Yeah. He's got that second spot sewn up, it seems like to me. Just stays there. He's only going to lose 2 points on Heasterbeek, and he's got a 10-point gap, remember. So that gives him a bit of leeway in case of any penalties for him post-race as well. But I've not actually seen
no, I think it's been really clean.
It's been pretty clean, hasn't it, for him? So, but just in case. Where is Hack at the moment? Is he back in 9th spot? He's in 8th spot. There he is. In 8th spot. He's got, I think it's Eric Strana in behind him. Yes, Eric Strana in 9th spot behind him.
Didn't know he was in the race.
No, he wasn't in the first race. But he has been in this second race here. So there is Eric Strana right in behind. Remember, he won.
Strana was the winner
this
last
race.
time.
Yeah, exactly. He won this race in 2014. Not going to win today though. That particular accolade is going to go to a certain Estonian.
Just something I wanted to say about Richards after that. Race at Oulton Park in the Super Tours, where he was pretty much robbed of the win in the end. He was not the same again. He was never in contention anymore. And this is the first time in quite a long time that I've seen him really on the pace and really doing a great race. So it's good to see him back at the front.
It is good to see him back, but that's another thing that we've seen before with Matt, isn't it? He lets the emotion, take over too much. I mean, he ended up being removed from Virtual Super Tours for 2 retaliatory moves at Brands Hatch, unfortunately. Again, it's just the emotion gets the better of him, and it affects his performance. Again, that comes with age. He's 18 years old, isn't he still? So it's difficult at that age to control, especially when you're racing like this. It's so difficult just to race by yourself, never mind with other people around you bumping you and trying to get past and being denied so cruelly at Oulton Park, and a freak occurrence, really. It must be hard, but again, that just comes with, if you want to be a race winner and a champion, you just have to put those sorts of things in the back of your mind, don't you, Rob?
Yeah, and I think Richards already learned a lot, but there's always a little bit more to learn. But he certainly learned how to defend. That's very good what he's doing so far.
He actually went on a bit of a course of learning how to defend before the Super Tours season. In fact, if you can remember, Rob, you on track with me.
Oh, nice move from McGregor here. Oh, there's a wall. That was close.
There is a wall, and there are plenty of them at Bathurst, unfortunately. As Heasterbeek now goes wide, and through is going to go McGregor. There we go. So McGregor now putting even more of a seal on that second spot in the championship, and now he's in that podium position also as well. The all-important podium statistic will grow for McGregor if he stays where he is.
McGregor has impressed me so much this season. just been brilliant. You know, good pace, not quite as good as Tuppet, of course, but very, very solid pace and amazing racecraft. Oh, he's the beat.
That was very, very close to throwing into the booze there. Oh, there's not very many booze around here, but it's more like a concrete wall thrown into. Very close to the wall inside there as well. That was precision there for the Beast. Oh, and Cyber's off the course like that. It takes some doing.
I think he's overheated his tires a little bit. That's why he's dropping back now.
Trying a bit too hard. It looks like he doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not very typical for him. He's usually one of the calmest there.
And here comes Rodriguez. What a run Rodriguez has got! He's going to slingshot to the outside into the chase.
McGregor ahead as well.
McGregor on Richards. McGregor around the outside.
Oh, McGregor's on the inside.
Rodriguez is through. And Richard has held on. How did he hold on to that? That's difficult to see that because they're both exactly the same colour as they go into that chase there. We get a very long shot and a very pixelated screen, unfortunately. And Richard's held on. That is great stuff. Let's quickly watch on the replay because we watched the move between Rodriguez and Heasterbig, and here it is the move between Richards.
That was hard. That was very hard for McGregor. He was not giving Richards much room, but Richards just did everything right.
But that's so often the case, isn't it? At this particular track, many corners are just one line. Really, I mean, when you drive through this track, you drift from wall to wall, from curb to curb, just naturally, don't you? There's not much chance for leaving room, and for the drivers to leave room here so effectively, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's been very good racing here in this battle. Oh, was he's becoming a look at Rodriguez again on the outside. Can't make it work here.
No, he can't quite make it work. He's now go up the hill. This is the penultimate lap here, and it's been a fantastic race. Richard is clinging on to this second spot at the moment. Can he hold on even longer? Just need one lap.
Oh, McGregor!
He's at the wall. Will he get a puncher? No,
I don't think so. I think he got away with it.
That's impressive. And that's lucky, not impressive at all. Impressive tyre wall and side wall solidity there. So Rodriguez all over the back. Oh, McGregor.
Oh no!
Rodriguez hit the wall. Oh, he's clipped it hard. How is he not away with that? Heasterbig was involved, a la Rugerman and Yuns, but they just avoided it in the end.
That's all good news for Richards. It was so close there. Oh my god.
Let's quickly check that for you. Let's quickly check it on board. Heasterbig. There we go. On board with Heasterbig. And there is the wall. Then Rodriguez hits, just clips it, pushes it across. And Heasterbig just avoids a big accident there, because that would have blocked the road with the guys behind also as well. Could have been quite a good chain reaction. Now around the outside he goes. Off the chase, Rodriguez tries to give him a bit of a hip and shoulder, but Heasterbig having none of it. And he's got the inside now for the final corner at Murray's. And he will have the inside, being pushed through almost by Adrian Holm. Adrian Holm looking now to try and take the position away from Rodriguez as well. Heasterbig down the inside. They're still side by side, Rodriguez has to give it up. Now he's under attack from Adrian Holm. What can Holm do here?
I'm not sure. He doesn't have the slipstream, so I don't think he can do much at the moment. But McGregor's also back behind Richards.
He is really back behind Richards, so whenever actually passing him, Richards ended up staying ahead. And Rodriguez, there we go. Hello. Through. Pipo. Take the position away. So Pipo holds on to that fifth position.
I meant that McGregor closed the gap again. That was, I mean, he had a small mistake and clipped the wall.
Did he?
And now he's, yeah.
Wasn't that Rodriguez?
Well, they both had.
Oh yes, of course, at the top around here, wasn't it? That's McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
now he's
correct.
back.
Yeah, he is right back behind him. You're absolutely correct.
I think he should wait if he wants to get past. He should wait for the long straight because he has not really don't have any chance. Oh, in the background there was someone off the track.
That was Holm and Rodriguez off the track in the background there, I think. But they're still status quo. Somehow Siggy hasn't managed to take any advantage of all of this as they're battling. Sorry if I haven't seen much else of the field here, but it's been such fantastic racing. We have to keep our eye on this. But Richards and McGregor squeezing. Heasterbig's right there. Look at that. He's gained stunning ground over the top of the mountain there. And McGregor has lost ground as he tried to nose on the inside to get a good exit there from Richards. He was held up, and now he's not going to be able to take any advantage at all. He's going to have to hope for a mistake from Richards, and he has to make sure he holds off Heasterbig also as well. Let's quickly go forward, should I say, and congratulate Risto Kappert on another win in the Virtual Carrera Cup. A fantastic season for him. He is truly the 2015 champion. Well done to him. He crosses the line for the final time. Who's going to be second? It's going to be Richards. Who's going to be third? It looks like McGregor will just about hold off Hasemick. Cross the line now. Third and fourth, Hasemick. Fifth to Rodriguez. Sixth to Holm. With seventh place, Kevin Siggy. Eighth spot. Who is that?
That's Cardozo.
Cardozo made his way back to 8th spot. That's a fantastic performance. Well done to him. Because he was way down.
Hack was in
9th to
ninth.
Hack. Yeah, Hack was in 9th. You'll be disappointed with that. With 10th, Thomas Jacobs. And now as they cross the line now then, it's 11th for Sven De Vries. If we're just waiting for him to come across the line. A few guys just lagging in behind. But how about that battle at the end of the race there, Rob?
Yeah, that was pretty close. And well done to Matt Richards. He did a really, really good race. I'm very impressed by his performance.
Yeah, he actually equalled his best result in the Touring Pro Series. He's got a number of second spots now. He's probably sick of them, to be honest. But they are better than finishing in 10th or 15th, I guess. But he wants that win, really, at the end of the day. But hopefully we get a quick word with him before he disappears as well after this race. But we'll be back in just a few moments' time with some driver interviews, hopefully. And fingers crossed we can have a word with our champion, Risto Kappert. He adds his name to the long list of Touring Pro Series greats.
User was moved to your channel.
I've showed up,
moved
you know,
to your channel.
it made it easier.
Hello, welcome back to the broadcast here from Bathurst. The Virtual Carrera Cup 2015 has come to its conclusion, and we have a new champion to add to our list of Touring Pro Series champion. That champion is Risto Kappert, and we've got him here in the booth with us. Congratulations, Risto. How do you feel?
Yes! Yes, man.
Now, this is your
Really
debut
happy.
series in the Touring Pro, in the debut league in the Touring Pro Series, and you obviously came across with
User
a
joined
bit
your
of a big
channel.
reputation, really, considering your feats elsewhere in other games and other communities. You always were confident from the start you had a chance of the championship, but when you saw Heinemann's pace early in the season, were you worried at any point?
Oh, yes. Not only was I worried, but I really had to work hard. All the races where Heinemann was present, I did quite a lot of laps and quite a lot of studying and quite a lot of effort. So, yeah, and I was still worried. I'm sure it would have been a fight to the end, but yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, obviously, circumstances robbed us of a championship battle there. But of course, you put the effort in, Risto, and you did some fantastic performances also as well. I mean, a few mistakes in there also, but you always recovered well. One famously at Adelaide, and one at Eastern Creek also as well.
Oh, yeah, well, most likely those mistakes were
User
pressure
joined
of
your
Heinemann, all the spins and stuff. I was just trying to keep up with maybe the impossible pace. But yeah, I always kept going and paid off.
And how have you enjoyed this series at TPS? You obviously, like you say, it's your first series here. How have you found it? Are the drivers also well the standard of racing?
Oh yeah, it's my first of this kind, and it's very special. It's very reminiscent of real life. Not only this league itself, but because I'm competing inside the team with folk racing,
joined your
it's completely a different experience. You have much more expectations and some more things you need to do, but it's a super experience. I'm very motivated by the team, and definitely all the other drivers here are not bad. They are very high level, I am not sure how much practice they did, but I think I did more than them. So yeah, I'm very happy, and all these broadcasts and all this preparation, it's amazing. It's a great pleasure to drive.
Yeah, you now add your name to the list of TPS champions. I mean, you go alongside people like Jack Keithley, Toby Davis, Jesper Torborg, Robert Wiesenmuller, people like that. I mean, how does it feel to be in the same kind of sentence as that?
Oh yeah, it's great. I may be new to these leagues, but I've always watched the YouTube stuff, and I know the names, and I always browse the ranking and stuff. And some other drivers have been like Stoffel Van Dorn, and I know
Stoffel
how
Van
he
Dorn
has
as well. Yeah,
competed against these guys, and these guys have been faster. So I'm very glad. This gives me a real good information where I am in the sim racing and what I can do. So it's been a very, very good experience, very necessary.
Fantastic, Risto. Thank you very much for competing this season. It's been a pleasure seeing you out on track, always giving your best, and congratulations once again on this championship.
Thank you too for this league.
No problem at all. So we got a few other guys in here to talk to as well. Adrian Holmes keeps piping up, as he tends to do.
Yeah,
so I think
sure.
Adrian wants to have a bit of an interview. Adrian, what happened out there today? It was a bit frantic, wasn't it?
It was Sydney Park all over again, Ryan.
It was not Sydney Park. You were never in a chance of winning this race. Come on.
No, but like the first,
Oh,
the
I see.
first.
Yes, 2013. Yes, I know what you mean.
Yes, the melee at the start. Kind of sad to have a lost event like this, because it was some crazy stuff going on, me included probably as well. But yeah, in the second race, I just made my setup a lot more conservative and just found a bit of pace to at least stay with the top 5 guys.
I mean, this season as well, it comes off the back of your stunning VTM championship season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, bigger things were expected of you than have been expected before. But obviously, you tempered that with the fact that obviously not much experience with these cars. How have you adapted to these cars? I mean, you've not made as much progress as maybe you thought you were going to make, perhaps?
I thought I hoped at least to get like a reverse grid win. I had a chance a couple of times, but just messed it up. I didn't put the enough effort to be able to challenge the top guys, and I felt that I didn't really have the motivation to either. So I just tried to take this as a not hyper competitive championship like I did with the VTM, where I put just bunch of laps in and just wanted to be on pace all the time. But it's been great, actually. A new experience.
Yeah. How have you enjoyed these cars? Have these cars? Have you warmed to these cars?
Not really enjoy them, to be honest.
No,
they're so different to how I drive, but it's
in what way? How are they different?
Just the throttle, because in the Skyline it was just power and then corrected with the steering all the way from the apex out to the exit, just power sliding it everywhere, and you can't really do that in these, especially on turn-in, because I always had quite a lot of oversteering to the corners as well.
Okay, well, thank you for racing this season, Adrian. Thank you for your thoughts here today also as well.
Thank you too as well.
No problem. And so we've got Christopher Hack. Now, Chris, when you came into this season, we thought that you were shooing for at least one win. Didn't quite happen. What happened out this season?
I got a bit distracted by what's been going on elsewhere after Barbagello, to be honest. I've not put the effort in, and probably that's pretty much shown in not being on the pace. But
you've got the talent, surely.
I don't know if I would have had the pace to really hang at the front of this. I don't do these cars perfectly, and yeah. I think after a couple of rounds, I'd sit down to practice and I'd be thinking, I should be like buying something for my actual racing and things like that, and it just didn't happen.
Actual racing is so overrated, Chris. Come on. Anyway, but actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. Just tell the viewers what you're doing in real life this season.
I'm having a go at the BMW Compact Cup. It's run by the 750 Club. At the cheapest level of the budget, but still quite expensive.
You'd better win. All this training in TPS for like 3 years.
I Yeah, I don't think that's quite going to happen.
Florian Strauss made it happen. He had 3 years at TPS, and now look at him. Come on, Chris.
He wasn't paying for it himself, though.
It's true. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
There's a bit of a difference in my budget to the guys at the front, but I'll give it a go. I actually befriended someone that started last season who'd only done sim racing before, and he got a top 10 in it, so I've sort of sucked lots of knowledge out of him, and see what happens. Should be fun anyway.
Well, good luck for it, Chris, and
Thank you.
hope you do well.
Cheers.
All right, so we're going to quickly interview Matthew Richards. Matthew.
Hello.
Matt. I mean, we've had a bit of a bitty season. Kind of here, kind of there, kind of not here.
Yeah.
But this race, the final race of the season, very exciting. You almost pulled it off. Obviously, Risto caught you with a few laps to go. But then you clung on for that second spot. Just talk us through that for me.
Race 1 was a bit just trying to pick up positions, but as soon as I found out I was starting second for race 2, it was quite interesting. I think I got past Olsen quite early. Can't really remember much of that race considering the last few laps. And just tried to hold on. Obviously, I knew Risto was somewhere in the pack, so I knew I wasn't going to win, depending on where he was. As soon as he came towards me, I just made a mistake defending, and I thought I could defend around the outside of turn 2, and just couldn't hold it. And then just, trying as hard as I could to keep hold of second, and it pulled off.
Yeah, you pulled it off in the end. I mean, you've had so many second places in the Touring Pro Series now. And will that win ever come?
No idea. Hopefully someday in the future, when in a future TPS league. But I'll keep trying and keep improving. Like, the last year's been a good experience for me. Obviously, having some good success in this now, as well as the VST. Not really going to talk about that though. And
don't worry, we did in the broadcast. Don't worry
just trying to keep improving and get to the top.
You certainly got the promise of that, and you've threatened on a few occasions. Just a little bit of luck. Congratulations on your second place today.
Thank you.
Well done to you. So we're going to quickly talk to also as well Fabio Assunção. Fabio, you were involved in all kinds of incidents in those 2 races. Talk us through it.
Hi there. It was not only in those 2 races. I think it was in the O Championship, to be honest. But in this race, on the first one, I just completely messed up with David Junt. I apologize to him, and I apologize now as well. I completely missed the braking point, and I hit his back, and every sort of problem came back after that. On second race, from 7th, the 17th. Sorry. It was not that great. I just got to 12th after some incidents, and just spun out and got to the back as the first race. So not great.
I mean, it's really the story of your season. Sorry, excuse me, Fabio. This is it.
User
You've
left your
got the
channel.
speed to be able to challenge, but then you get involved in incidents. What do you think you need to do to, just to cut that out so that you can get a result that sticks, if you know what I mean?
I don't know. I think this sort of car is not like my driving to be consistent. I can be fast on it, but to be consistent over the race, I can't. Especially like on the first few laps that I do on race 1, they're just a mess. I can't get the rhythm, and I just struggle to get to the front.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. Of course, here at TPS as well, if you have a few messy laps, you lose touch, and that's
exactly.
gone. Obviously, yeah. I mean, you had a podium result earlier this season as well, which was good, obviously. You've got the pace, definitely, and good luck for the rest of any series you compete in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. We've got a couple more interviews to round off here. Where Mr. Mike Bell. We didn't see too much of you in those 2 races, Mike, mainly because nothing much was happening with yourself. Just talk us through what happened for you.
Well, race 1 there was a lot happening, but I was watching, keeping my eye on the map, and there was much more exciting stuff happening up front, like the entire race pretty much. And then there's me and Holm going side by side around half the lap.
User joined your
over
channel.
the course of 2 or 3 laps for, was it like 13th or 14th or something? Way down there, but it was fun. Race 2 got up to about 11th or so, and then Fabio passed me around the outside of, I believe, Sulman Park, which I just couldn't do anything about it. and then I just had a crash into the wall and went in for repairs, and that was that.
Sounds like a typical Mike Bell race, really.
A bit worse than a typical Mike Bell race in race 2, but
Okay.
race 1 was great.
Okay.
It was for a position that's basically nowhere in the back, but it was fun. That's the
Good,
important part.
And obviously, you had a shorter season than most. I mean, how has your season gone for yourself?
For me personally, it's not really been my main season, so I haven't been putting too much of my effort into that, more towards VST. But for the effort I've put in, I've been very surprised with how good my results have been.
Okay, so good luck in the final round at VST, Mike. And thank you for chatting with us. We'll get Łukasz Demel in here also as well. This was the first time Łukasz has ever raced these cars. And what did you think, Łukasz?
Yeah, I think they're awesome, but it was a difficult combo to debut on Mount Panorama with Porsches, where I'm usually not that good here, so I was more a gentleman driver, just enjoying the view and filling up the free spots. It's congratulations to everyone who's fighting for the win here, because it's really a lot of effort, and I am impressed by the pace of guys like Risto, and good job to Matt too, because it's really a lot to achieve to win here and to be as consistent and fast on this track. For me, it was just a scavenger race. I was just making sure to not get into anyone's way too much, and I really enjoyed that. Just having some funny banter with Mike as well on TeamSpeak.
That's good. Okay, well, thanks for racing here today. Łukasz, thanks for the interview also as well. Rob, I just wanted to bring you in quickly to end this broadcast for ourselves. What were your final thoughts on this race and the championship as a whole? I mean, it's not been without its controversy, but we've seen plenty of excitement as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, about this race, I think this was a very exciting race. Lots of stuff happened. To me, I mean, Risto Cuppet once again did a great race. He just used his pace completely to his advantage, and it was pretty impressive. But I was also very impressed by Matt Richards, how he defended in the end. Yeah, so that was a good race. Maybe a bit too many incidents. We saw Olsen flying very high. So
I don't know what you mean.
What, have you forgotten that?
No, I'm being sarcastic. Sorry. Carry on. You want to give us a review of the season?
The whole season. I think when before the season started, we had Tim Heinemann as the clear championship favorite, and I was not really sure if I wanted to commentate on this season, because I thought, Heinemann is just gonna win it again. It will be boring. And then in the beginning, it was really exciting with Risto and Kevin as well. To be honest, just coming up, showing the pace, challenging Heinemann, and we had some really exciting races. Then, of course, the season got overshadowed by Heinemann cheating and being removed. I think all the remaining drivers in the league, they did a great job to, that the season still remained exciting afterwards. But of course, there was no championship fight anymore, so that was a little bit disappointing. But then when you watch through the actual races and see these battles, especially for like position 3 to 8 or so, and in almost every race there was such a great fight. So that was pretty good to see, and I liked that much more than the first season. I think the actual races were a lot better, and also the format was contributing to it with the small reverse grid that was working really well. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed watching all these races and commentating on them. And congrats to Risto. He was the best, deserved champion.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with what Rob has said here. Obviously, this is our penultimate broadcast at TPS for the foreseeable future, just for the next few months at the very least. And so make sure you tune in for the championship finale of the Virtual Super Tourers. That's a week on Wednesday at Silverstone. It's a showdown between the two THR titans, Robert Wiesenmuller and Toby Davis, and we can't wait for that myself and Keith Barrick will be commentating on that. The Dream Team, and we'll be covering all of that for you. You can watch it live. Remember, you can watch it back on YouTube as well. Make sure, if you watch on YouTube right now, click the subscribe button, please. Thank you very much. And also make sure you like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Touring Pro Series. Very, very easy to find us. If you like us on Facebook, that way you can find out what our plans are in the coming months also as well, because of course we'll be a little bit quiet and it'll be difficult to find out another way. So make sure you like us on Facebook and keep checking that for us. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. Thank you very much for the drivers for racing with us. And thank you to all the partners that make everything possible, even the unspoken partners, like ISI for R Factor and the people who make the RFE plugin and SimSync and Live Races and the servers, and Keith Barrett for funding it, and myself for administrating it, and Robert for commentating, and John for commentating. It takes a whole plethora of people to make these championships happen, and we do enjoy doing it, and we hope you enjoy watching also. Until next time, take it easy.